Welcome to our Tuesday morning beginner workout. I'm Dave. Today we're going to be going through stretch, strength, and sweat. So we're going to do some cardio, we're going to do some strengthening activity, we're going to start with some mobility. We're just going to start with our arm swings. We're going to start palm up, and across the body, go palm down. I really like this workout because it has a bit of everything in it. We're going to do 4 groups of 3 exercises each, 30 seconds on, 10 seconds off. And we're only doing 2 rounds today because I want to spend a little bit more time on the warm-up. We're just going to go into our side lean, side step. So I'm taking a step out to the right, and I'm pushing my hips out to the right, step out to the left, hips out to the left. From there, we'll just go into a little bit of a modified jumping jack, moving the arms up and down. And I wanted to spend a little bit more time on the warm-up and to cool down. And give enough time to explain all the exercises. All right, we're going to interlock our fingers behind our head, pull your elbows back. And we're just going to twist the torso. Take some time, move through these movements slowly. This is more of a beginner workout, but you can always modify it. We're pushing our hips back, curling our hands down in front of our legs. We're going to pull back on the left fingers, arms overhead, hips to the right, hips to the left, lean to the other side. Yeah, as I was saying, you could modify these to make it a little bit more advanced if you'd like. I'm having extremely tight hamstrings, so I'm not going as far here, and that's okay. I feel about a 6 out of 10 stretch of my hamstring just right here. So that's all I need to go to. Pull back on my right fingers this time, arms overhead. Hips to the right, lean to the left. Hips to the left, lean to the right. We're going to do that 2 more times, just switching up what we do with our hands there. So I'm pushing my hip back. I feel that 6 out of 10 stretch in my hamstrings there. That's all I really need to go to. And this time I'm going to push down on my hand there, on my knuckles. And then just do that same thing. There you go, 1 more time there. And even though I'm having some hamstring soreness here, from other workouts, I get a little bit more range of motion each time, and that's completely normal, and that's what we want. And this time I'm pushing back on those right fingers. Okay. And we'll just go into a little bit more of cardio. So we're going to just do our march. So I'm going opposite arm, opposite leg. And you can pick it up a little bit. You can be going just into put some fast high knees if you'd like, but if we want to stay low impact, we're just marching here. Okay, and our last one that I want to do is I just want to practice some shoulder retractions with you, working on those muscles that often don't get worked, and a lot of people have a tough time activating when they're doing some rowing type exercises. We don't have a lot of rowing type exercises in our workouts because we don't like to use a lot of equipment so that everybody has access to this. But we're just going to go arms straight out. If you do have equipment to row with or do rowing type exercise, I highly suggest doing it. I'm just pulling my arms back, retracting my shoulder blades. So I'm really trying to squeeze my shoulder blades while keeping my arms straight. So I'm squeezing my shoulder blades together. I'm keeping my arms straight. My thumbs are pointed up. I don't hike my shoulders, right? I'm not hiking my shoulders or rolling my shoulders to this. It's just shoulders back. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. A lot harder than it looks if you're unpracticed. But that's the gist of it, alright? So we're going to go on into group 1 now. Yeah, we're only doing 2 rounds of everything. I gotta put on my round timer because it doesn't look like it's showing up there. So by doing 2 rounds of everything, we have about 16 minutes of work. So that's why we spend a little bit more time on the warm up, and we'll spend a little bit more time on the cool down. So our 1% bicep stretch, we're just going into a tabletop position like so. But we're going to try to get our fingers pointed towards us as best we can. That's about it for me. And then we're just going to lean forward into that. And we can rock if you'd like. Or you can just hold, all right? Our wall sit with bicep curl will probably be the hardest exercise of the whole workout, I would say. We're just doing that wall sit to the best of your ability. Get your hips in line with your knees and your feet under your knees, and then the bicep curl. You could have weight if you want. Doing that. And then our crab walk is our cardio move. And we're just going to go into this crab walk position, which is, I'm sitting on my butt, my feet are in front of me. I'm just bringing my hips up, and we're walking like so. A little less of a cardio move in the sense of like we're not moving very fast, but it will be a little bit more challenging. So that's what's going to get your heart rate up there. All right. Without further ado, we'll start round 1 in 3, 2, and 1. Hopefully my timer works. It hasn't been. And it's not going to work. Ah, that's wonderful. Don't know why it hasn't been working, but sometimes that's the way it is. You guys can go ahead into that quadricep stretch. I'm just going to go ahead and resume that timer. Again, quadriped position. Leaning forward with my fingers pointed towards me in the best of my ability. You should feel that maybe in your forearms and your biceps. Okay, we got 10 seconds break, and I'm just going to hide my timer there real quick while we go into our wall sit with bicep curl. And the only reason I have to hide that timer is I see people's comments when they come in. So again, I'm trying my best to get my hips at the same height as my knees. I'm keeping my feet, my heels, under my knees. Elbows are tight to my body, and I'm curling. And head's against the wall, and that's probably the hardest one for a lot of people, but we're almost done. 3, 2, and 1. If you need to modify that, if you don't have a wall, you're not too comfortable with the wall sit, just go into your quarter squat, your half squat. We're going into our crab walk now. And if you're uncomfortable with the crab walk, what I suggest is maybe just doing a bear crawl where you're on the other side here and just more crawling. That would sort of be your modification for that. Those are definitely harder. Let's see if the round count works today. Oh, it's not working either. I'll have to check the settings on that, why that's going, but we're just going into our quadricep bicep stretch again. I'm going to rock this time. We only have 4 minutes in each group, and I wanted to make this a little bit more accessible today. Okay, we're up on our feet. I didn't want to make it too challenging, although some of these exercises at the beginning are a little bit more challenging. So I'll show you the modification for this one. So if I wanted to, instead, I could just do this wall bicep curl. And if you don't want to do a static position because you have high blood pressure or you just don't like those isometric positions, we could do more of a squat and curl, and maybe you have some weights you want to hold. You can do that. You can use a resistance band, whatever you want to do there. Then we go into our crab walk. For our final 30 seconds. If you've never really done this motion before, or you're unpracticed on it like myself, this is pretty challenging. So if you ever need to like put your butt down to rest, you know, you can take a few steps, butt down to rest, take a few steps. And I'm going backwards there, which I think is a little bit more challenging. So if you only want to go forward, you can do that too. We're going to go to group 2. I'm going to fix the timer and hide the round count because it's pretty well useless. Okay, we'll have to do that after. So this one is a little bit more, group is a little bit more lateral movement. So what we're going to do is for the first 15 seconds, we'll do our side lean cross-body shoulder stretch. So I take an exaggerated step out to the right. I lean to the right. My left arm comes over, right arm underneath, and I do that shoulder stretch there. Halfway through, we'll switch sides. Side lunges with shoulder raise. We'll be alternating, stepping to the side, raising our shoulders up. Yeah, weights, again, you're more than welcome to use weights, but not necessary. And our lateral shuffle, we're going to get into the quarter squat position and shuffle side to side. Again, if you're more advanced, you could pick this up a little bit. But with a beginner class, this is the pace I'm going to go. And you're welcome to join me there. All right? I'm going to have to start the timer here because nothing's working for me today. And we're going in 3, 2, and 1. So that's side body. We're going to switch on the 15-second mark, so I'm not going to get too much time there, and that's okay. And I messed up there. That's what it should be. We'll switch sides. So I take an exaggerated step to the left. Lean into that. Right arm comes across. Left arm underneath. And then the side lunges, we essentially just did one right there. Side lunge, shoulder raise, side lunge, shoulder raise. If this is too advanced for you, again, you could just do a side step with the shoulder raise. You could take the shoulder raise out. We could try maybe doing a front shoulder raise instead. If that's a little bit more comfortable for you. Different muscles when we're doing that front raise. Still good. You can alternate. Right, lots of variety we can do here. Perfect. And then our lateral shuffle, go from 120 to 150. Hinge at the hips, bend at the knees. And we take exaggerated steps. Right? And when I take these steps, I'm always facing forward. I don't rotate at all. And again, we can pick up the speed We're keeping it low impact today. Okay, and then we're back to the top. From 2 minutes to 2:30, we're going to be doing our side lean cross body shoulder stretch. So I lean into that right leg, left leg straight, left arm comes across, right arm underneath. Just feel that stretch in the inner groin. And then whatever arm is crossed across your body, that's the one where you feel the stretch in. Step to the left, right leg straight, trail leg straight. Right arm comes across. Excellent. We go into our side lunges with shoulder raise from 240 to 310. Step, we raise. And I like to combo a lot of these things for a couple reasons. One, it's a good use of our time, working multiple muscles at once. Keeps things a little interesting. But more importantly, it's good for the brain. If we can, perfect, and our lateral shuffle from 320 to 350. If we can learn how to use multiple muscles at once, we're going to that lateral shuffle, our brain gets better at moving our bodies. We become more efficient. We become stronger because we have better neuromuscular pathways. We reduce our risk for disease and certain illnesses like multiple sclerosis, Alzheimer's, where some of these pathways almost get closed off. Okay, and that is group 2. Again, I have to do everything from the computer, it looks like today. So we're on group 3. We have our child's pose to Cobra, low plank, and our walkout. So our walkout is the most challenging one of this. Low plank's pretty challenging, but not too bad, and I'll show you why. Child's pose. So our neutral sort of starting position for this mobility exercise is this quadruped position. Because what we're going to do is we're going to push our hips back, hands forward, nice deep breath, and then you're going to go into Cobra. So I go back into this quadruped position, but this time I go forward, pushing my hips into the ground, lifting up my chest, nice deep breath, and then just push yourself back into that child's pose, all right? So you can move through your own pace on that. Our low plank goes from the forearms, if you can, nice straight line from shoulder to ankle. If that's difficult, we just drop to the knees, right? I still have that nice straight line. And the nice thing about this is you can try, right? You can try doing this low plank for 5 seconds, and then maybe you have to drop into the modified position. Or you can always do it from an incline. I find the incline plank to be the starting position if you've never done a plank before or you have a difficult time getting on the ground. But I'll let you guys get set up into that child's pose to Cobra. And we're going to get going in 3, 2, and 1. And I'm moving through this a little bit more quickly. And that has nothing to do with ability, that's just more of a personal preference. All right, and then we're going to go from the low plank from 40 to a minute 10. So I'm on my forearm. I try not to touch my hands together because that creates a bit of a trust, more strength coming from the shoulders. It is a little bit of a cheat, but it's not one that's going to really ruin your form. So if you need to do that, you can. And again, as always, if you need to modify, I just drop my knees And I keep that form, right? I even keep my feet planted where they would be normally. And it's just keeping that nice straight back. And the nice thing is that, like, you can see I can pop in and out of that quite easily. Oh, I didn't show the walkout. So you can just join me here from 20 to 150. I walk down. I walk out to this high plank position. And I stand back up. If you need to modify that, it's hips, knees, ankles, ceiling, all right? Down, walk out, stand back up. And it looks like we don't have time, so we're going to go hips, knees, ankles, ceiling, all right? And that's round one. Take your time getting back down onto the ground. If you need to grab some water, go ahead. But we're going to go into those child's pose to Cobra. Push my hips back, stretch forward, and then I'm going into that Cobra position. Pushing my hips down, chest up. Reset to quadruped, push my hips back into child's pose. Reset to quadruped. Finish off with Cobra here. All right. Low plank, we're going from 240 to 310. Flash around the low plank. I create that nice straight line. Hips aren't high. See, my hips are hiked up here, and my hips don't sag. Hips sagging is going to hurt your low back a lot. Hips hiked up is going to hurt your low back a lot. So if you're having trouble with form, just drop to those knees. Try to find it in a mirror if you got one. But we really want to feel it in those abdominals. Okay, and then our last round of walkouts. Again, you could be doing walkouts, you could be doing those hips, knees, ankles, ceiling. You could be alternating between the two to get a little bit of both. We're just taking our time with the walkout if we're doing these, because these are challenging. Moving up and down, traveling through, vertical displacement. Last one is the hardest form of cardio. No doubt. Okay, group 4. This is what we need the bench for. We have our half kneel hip flexor, so we are kneeling on this one. So I'm kneeling down on my left leg. My right leg's forward. If my left leg's down, left arm comes up, and I just push my hips forward, feeling that stretch in the front. We're going to do 30 seconds one side, 30 seconds the other, so that we're not just bouncing on our knees. If you don't like kneeling or you have problems kneeling, just go into that standing quadricep. It's mostly the same, but it is slightly different. Sumo squat, feet are wide, pointed out, hinge at the hips, bend at the knees, chest stays lifted, we squat. And then lastly, we have our step up. So if you have something small to step on, a chair is a little high, but if that's what you got, that's what you got. Opposite arm, opposite leg as we step up and down, all right? So I will get that started. We have 4 minutes. You can go ahead and get into that half kneel hip flexor. 3, 2, and 1. I've started with my left leg forward, which is okay. Doesn't matter what side you start. Just remember your side. So what I've done is I'm in this half kneel position and I'm actively pushing my hips forward, trying to keep my arm in line with my ear, just feeling that stretch all along the right side of my body. I wish I would have demonstrated or showed you the other side on this round, but that's okay. Then we're going to stand up. Again, this is our sumo squat position. My feet are wider than hips, toes are pointed out, 45 degrees. Bend or I hinge at my hips, which means I push my butt out of the way, bend at my knees, chest stays lifted. And I'm using my full foot to squat. And what I mean by that is I'm not just putting it into my heels. I'm not putting it into the front of my foot. More the middle of my foot and trying to push off using my full foot. So digging my heels into the ground, pushing my toes into the ground. We're done our sumo squats there. Using that full foot to squat. You know, we're not just using the heels. We're not just using our toes. We're going into our step ups. I always lead, or I try to always lead with one side. And then at that halfway mark, I switch what side I'm leaning with. And that creates more smoothness in my step up. And I don't have to worry about working sides unequally because I'm doing it time based on that. Okay, so now we're going to do the other side on our half kneel hip flexor stretch. Pushing my hips forward. Again, I'm feeling it all throughout the side here. And as I push, you know, this is more of a relaxed position. As I push those hips forward into that stretch position, that's where I really feel it in the hip flexor there. And just keeping that arm in line with my ear, you know, based on daily habits of sitting for work, sitting to drive. I feel that stretch all through my side. Now we're going to do our sumo squat. If you need to modify, find something like a chair or a couch, and then just sit onto that, stand up, right? You can still keep your form. I'm still in this sumo squat form. 10 more seconds. Push my hips back, bend at the knees, keep my chest lifted, hips back, bend at the knees, stand up. Okay, step ups from 320 to 350, then we'll go into our cool down, and then we'll be done. And we'll still go a little bit over time. I just like to make sure everything is explained clearly for you guys so that you know what you're doing. You know how to modify if you can. That's part of the challenges of teaching from home is I can't see you guys. Oh, and we're halfway there, so I can switch sides. All right, well done. I'll stop the timer there. And we're just going to go through some quick stretches. And I'm just going to use the chair here. So we're going to sit on the edge of our chair. I'm going to cross my left leg over my right. Slightly lean forward. If you need to go because it is 8 o'clock, I understand. Just try to add some stretches to your day. If you're not too sure, you know, check our YouTube page. We have plenty of stretch videos there. We're going to switch sides. I cross my right leg over my left. Slightly lean forward. I always find stretching is a good time to reflect on how the workout went. So think about, you know, what exercises were the hardest, which ones you liked the best. If you had a good workout, if you enjoyed yourself, if it was too easy, was it too hard? All right, we're going to stand up. We're going to go into this handcuff stretch. So I'm grabbing my left wrist behind my back. I'm just bringing my shoulders, show you here, bringing my shoulders back and down, creating that nice proud Superman chest. And, you know, if you have some criticisms based on your reflections or some things that you want to say about your workout, you know, leave it in the comments. I'd be happy to hear that. I'm going to switch sides by that. I just mean I'm grabbing the other wrist. Leave it in the comments, send me an email. I'm always happy to address these things. And we'll just finish off with some neck stretches. So I'm going to go right ear to right shoulder. gently tilt the head forward. So I'm gently tucking my chin towards my chest. And I'm going to switch sides because we don't need to hold that one too long. Chin towards the chest. Left ear to left shoulder. Relax, shake it out. Excellent work today. I hope you guys enjoyed that workout. As always, questions, comments, concerns, any way you want to get them to me. If you want to mail me a letter, that's cool too. But I will see you guys on Thursday if you're looking for more of a HIIT workout. Justin will be on in the afternoon. If you're looking for more of a circuit workout, work those guns, work those buns. Laura will be teaching this afternoon at 12 on Facebook. As always, these things will be going out on YouTube as well. I will see you next time.